For days I've waited so patiently. You know it's been a while. My soul is hungry for you. So what do you say? I'm telling you honestly, I want you all the time. I loved it that you're mine. Wanna give myself to you, but can you promise me you'll stay? Don't wanna be here on my own. You know it's driving me insane. For days couldn't stop thinking of you and all the things that I would do. If you want, I could show you. So what do you see? I'm saying everything. There's no need to think twice. You know I'm down for you. Baby, wanna give myself to you, but can you promise me you'll stay? Don't wanna be here on my own. You know it's driving me insane. It's been way too long. I wanna be where you are, right by your side. Wanna give myself to you, but can you promise me you'll stay? Don't wanna be here on my own. You know it's driving me insane. Don't wanna be here on my own. You know it's driving me insane. Don't wanna be here on my own. You know it's driving me insane. Why would it just be a recording? Baby, I'm in paradise, like I'm hypnotized when you touch my body, baby. You're like kryptonite. I'm falling from the sky, running down so easily. We drive around town, you holding me down. Said you won't let me down. So obsessed with that sound. You drive around town, the scent of your car. You said you won't let me down. I'm so obsessed with that sound. I can't deny I'm falling for you. And I can't deny I'm falling for you. said you won't let me down. I'm so obsessed with that sound. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The scent of your car still hanging so far. You fill up my jar by the words that stream out of your mouth. Ooh, I can't deny I'm falling for you. I can't deny I'm falling for you. And I close my eyes, beat me up with those memories. Smoke the choke, the feeling that you will stay with me. Tangled up all the night, hoping you might feel me just in your dreams. And I close my eyes, beat me up with those memories. Smoke the choke, the feeling that you will stay with me. And hope you might just feel me in your dreams. Oh, 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 oh. Close my eyes, feed me up with those memories. Smoke the choke, the feeling that you will stay with me. And hope you might feel me just in your dreams. I can't deny I'm falling for you. Oh, oh, oh. And I can't deny falling for you. Oh, oh, oh. Come on, everyone knows this song, right? You've applied the pressure to have me crystallized, and you've got the faith that I can bring paradise. I forgive and forget before I'm paralyzed. Do I have to keep up the pace to keep you satisfied? Things have gotten closer to the sun, and I've done things in small doses. So don't think that I'm pushing you away when you're the one that I've kept closest. Don't move slow when taking steps in my direction. The sound resounds, echoes. There's a lesson in your affection. No, you say I'm foolish for pushing this inside, but bandana haunts, and I won't leave without. Glaciers have melted to the sea. I wish the tide would take me over, and I've been down on my knees, and you just keep on getting closer. melted to the sea. I wish the tide would take me over. I've been down on my knees, and you just keep on getting closer. Go slow, go slow, whoa, go slow, go slow, whoa, go slow. Happy New Year. Alright, I got two more in me. And then let's get the streaming. Have you got color on your cheeks? You ever got that feel that you can shift the tide that sticks around like something's in your teeth? This mace is up your sleeve. Have you no idea that you're in deep? I dreamt about you nearly every night this week. How many secrets can you keep? There's this tune I found that makes me think of you somehow, and I play it on repeat until I fall asleep. I'm spilling drinks on my city. If this feeling flows both ways, was sorta hoping that you'd stay. That the nights were mainly made for saying things that you can say tomorrow day. Crawling back to you, never thought of calling when you've had a few, 'cause I always do. Maybe I'm too busy being yours, too far for somebody new. Now I've thought it through. So have you got the guts? Been wondering if your heart's still open, and if so, I wanna know what time it should. Simmer down, pucker up. I'm sorry to interrupt, it's just I'm constantly on the cusp of trying to kiss you, but I don't know if you feel the same as I do. But we could be together if you wanted to. If this feeling flows both ways, was sorta hoping that you'd stay. That the nights were mainly made for saying things that you can say tomorrow day. Crawling back to you, never thought of calling when you've had a few, 'cause I always do. Maybe I'm too busy being yours, too far for somebody new. Now I thought it through. If this feeling flows both ways, we're sorta hoping that you'd stay, yeah. That the nights were mainly made for saying things that you can say tomorrow day, yeah. Too busy being yours, too far. You ever thought of calling, darling? Do you want me crawling back to you? never thought of calling when you've had a few, 'cause I always do. Okay, this is the last one. It's a short one. Happy New Year, everybody. And he's 12 years old, and tomorrow she'll be a whore. Nobody ever told her it's the wrong way. Don't be afraid with the quickness you get laid. For your family get paid, it's the wrong way. I gave her all that I had to give. I'm gonna make it hard to live. Big salty tears running down her chin, and it ruins her makeup and never won't give. A cigarette rests between her lips, but I'm staring at her tits, it's the wrong way. Strong if I can, but I am only a man, so I take her to the can, it's the wrong way. The only family that she's ever had is the 7 horny brothers and a drunk ass dad. He needed money, so he put her on the street. Everything was going fine until the day she met me. Happy, are you sad? Wanna shoot your dad? I'll do anything I can the wrong way. We talk all night, tried to make it right. Believe me, shit was tight, it was the wrong way. Don't run away if you wanna stay, 'cause I ain't here to make ya. Oh no, it's up to you what you really wanna do. Spend some time in America. Dub star. Yeah, 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 yeah. She'll give you all that she's got to give, but I'm gonna make it hard to live. Big salty tears rolling down the chin, and it smears her makeup I never won't give. So we ran away, and I'm sorry when I say that straight to this very day was the wrong way. She did the hike, no matter if I like it or not, because she only wants the wrong way. I gave her all that I had to give, she still wouldn't take it. Won't know how to pronounce how he can like a sieve, and it ruins her makeup and never won't heal. Hello and welcome everybody to the 6 Pixels Under podcast. I didn't know my sound was fucked up in the beginning, so. But like we always say, we're doing it live. That's the excuse. Apparently his showering thing made me laugh for some reason. Life of a game idea, GTA Online. I need to make Life of a Game videos. You guys are right. It's been suggested. Thanks for the $5. MMORPG gal. My homie. Oh, I appreciate it. I just saw you guys chat. I do have an edgy username, that's very true. Am I in the shot? I can't even tell. Yes, I am. Okay. Death of a Game, Rock Band, and Guitar Hero. Nerd Slayer just sings the whole time. Honestly, I would love to do Death of a Game on those games. I think they're worthy of it. They have a very interesting history. And it's one of those things where they're kind of screwed because of just like how the industry works. Like, for people wondering why Rocksteady and the companies that made all of these different like musical games don't make them anymore, it's because like after the success of those series, which is kind of funny, it's how it works, they realized there's so much money in licensing to video games, and they started like charging really high like amounts of money. And I think with Guitar Hero Live, they tried to circumvent that by like just making you buy the songs. But of course, everyone hated it because there was no songs in the game. So, how's it going, my friendly Canadian? Did I say hi to everybody already? I think I did, right? Tutu? I'll be honest, I'm probably butchering your name. Tutu? And Anil? Starkovich. That's my best pronunciation. What is it actually pronounced? Holy SD. I appreciate it, bro. So for those that didn't see, SDD, who's by the way a long time watcher and viewer of the channel, just donated I believe that's euro, 120 euros. Thank you. You've made streaming for the past couple of months worth it. Because I always say I don't stream financially. I stream just to connect with my audience. And to have fun, pretty much. So like nothing serious. The last one, Starkovik. I think I said Starkovik, right? On my last one, or was it Starkovich? Beach sounds like more Italian or something. Vik sounds more Eastern Europe, Central Europe. That's such a broad range. The classic North American like response. Oh, it's like from these regions. Yeah, much love, STD, seriously. That helps me a lot. Like, I'm not even as I always say, normally I say I can buy tacos. Like, MMORPG got me enough money to buy tacos. But that's enough money for me to eat for, like, a week. Or more. So, I really appreciate it. Oh, awesome. I'm a Balkan boy myself, though mostly my family from that area is largely Ukrainian. But we also don't know. Like, family history and DNA testing is not the same thing. And while you can know what your DNA is and track to some extent where your family comes from, I'm fascinated by the subject, so people know I talk about this a lot, but it's not as easy as you think. There's a reason that professionals get paid to do that stuff. And it's because you basically have to build like a timeline and follow migration movements. And the problem with that is that like people like my ancestors from Ukraine fled Russia the first time, like back in the early 1900s. I guess it's like no, it's like a quarter into the 1900s. So we don't really have much like records. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, most of my family from over there is that. I want to go to the Balkans, and I also want to go to Kiev. There's in Poland and Germany. There's a lot of places I want to go in that little region right there. There's more. I'm not just saying those are the only ones, but those ones come to mind. All right, so I want to talk about the reaction. Let me pull it up. For my 3 recent Death of the Game, since we haven't had a stream in a while. So the first one was Xdefiant. Now for the Xdefiant video, I expected it, I'll be honest, to do better than it did. But you can sit here as a content creator and create a bunch of excuses for why content doesn't do well, but it's never in your control. You never know if something's gonna do well. What I think about Xdefiant
including in the discussion surrounding it, and then in the kind of like the eyes watching it, it's already been heavily covered. And I've never made my career on this channel out of being the first to cover something. Yes, lately we have tried to cover things more quickly when they've actually been announced to be like shut down or whatever else. But mostly because that's like what we should be doing at some point, is trying to be current at least, right? Like a little bit. It's good for the algorithm and it's good for the channel. And it helps you guys feel like we're staying relevant. But like, mostly we just pick a game just based on whatever we think is interesting. And I say me because Tom makes suggestions, my editor, but I just pick whatever I feel like writing. And it really is about like interest. If I'm not interested in it, I can't write it. Now, there has been one script I wrote that I wasn't interested in that actually did really well. And in hindsight, I grew to love it. That was the Gotham City Imposters. Gotham City Imposters was like, I don't know what it was. It was just, I just didn't like the idea of it, you know? I thought it was a lot cooler than it seemed. I'll give it that. But as I was writing it, and every artist goes through their different like fucking processes, especially writers. And I remember I was like done with it. I was done voicing it, and I literally was just like, I don't give a fuck about this. Like, what do I do? You know, I just didn't care. And that's happened before. In fact, it happens a lot during that process. I start hating whatever I'm doing because I've heard myself say it like 20 times. But this time was like more. That Gotham City Imposters video blew the fuck up. And I was shocked by that. I'm not gonna lie. So it happens. But generally speaking, your heart has to be in it, right? Otherwise people either can sense that or you're not gonna put your best foot forward. So with Xdefiant, my best foot was forward. I think it was more of a bit of audience fatigue. People were a bit tired of talking about it. And people might say, wow, what an excuse because you didn't get as many views. That's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying more so because the dialogue around it was kind of boring, you know? And that happens in my videos sometimes. But it's like the dialogue around it was kind of everything that you guys could probably guess right now on like a little stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's very predictable. And then whenever you actually like take the time to break down the game itself, it's really easy to see why Xdefiant failed. Even outside of the other bizarre things, the whole spinoff, like multi-project, the name. If you actually just like take the time to go through it, you really get an idea of how bad things were. And I think that's the problem when people take such snapshots. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to judge other content creators. There's tons of great ones out there, including, you know, in this field, Josh Strife Hayes, I would suggest. Okay, I'm putting myself on the spot. I don't know that many other virtual world content creators, okay? But there's good ones. Does Fever still make content? He was good. What's it called? Steparu. I always suggest Steparu. But yeah, I think like in other industries and genres, there's of course many other people who do I don't want to say the same thing because they don't, but they do kind of like post-mortem series, right? Now, I've mentioned this before, and this is where a little bit of my arrogance comes out more than usual, and then the comment section is I started the trend, or was one of the big torch bearers to start the trend of this idea of a post-doc series covering games that didn't do so well. And while many people like CPG, Clean Prince Gaming, Downward Thrust, came right after me and literally like lifted many of the same things I was doing, I never really cared because I'm just like, I don't have a monopoly on owning post-doc kill series, or you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just like a nerd who plays games way too much. And did, as a kid especially. But then I realized, like, in that process, a whole new wave came from that. There's so much post-docu content now. Tons of it. And I'm just gonna be honest, most of it's not very good. You have people like gamers. You have people like who's great is what I'm saying. These guys are good. You have gamers. It's with the V. Gamers. You have every now and then people like Accursed Farms doing like follow-up videos to games that either didn't do so well or whatever else. You have damn, who's the guy that does all the action game? And he's Australian. I'm gonna have to just go to my damn channel because I'm forgetting. G-Man Lives. G-Man Lives, another, he does post doc content. I'm pretty sure was doing it, you know, before me, right? Not the same style of content, but you get what I'm saying. There's other people that do this stuff and they do a good job of it. The problem that I have with a lot of it is that because of how YouTube and the algorithm functions, like people like Yong Ye, it incentivizes having you just read the article on screen, basically. And that was extremely successful for his career. And it was because some people don't have time to read articles. Another thing is that some people think that he was offering some sort of insight, or like he never was. You can see that whenever he interviews and had that like debate with Jason Schreier. Jason Schreier was just raking him over the coals over his actual lack of analysis in his work. And of course, Yang Ye was focusing on the fact that Jason Schreier he doesn't think is a real gamer, which I actually think is a valid criticism because he doesn't seem to play as many games as most of these nerds in the space. And I think that that's where like this big divide happened between the video game critics and the video game journalists on YouTube, like people like me and, you know, Josh or Indigo Gaming, another great YouTube channel. People like us we have a very different style of content. It's not mainstream. I mean, maybe Josh has the most mainstream vibe of all of us because he's a lot more like coffee talking to you as a person. But I don't think our content out of all of us is really made for kind of like everyone, right? Like it's made for particular people who like worlds and interesting like IPs and like deep franchises, and so it's a little bit more niche in that sense. And so what I'm trying to say is that it actually behooves us to just keep doing that, keep doing what we do and do it our way and not follow the trends too much and not change how our style is done and so on and so forth, because there's plenty of other people who are doing it that way. Isn't there what happened? You can, I mean, I think is it Matt Plays? I'm really bad with names, but the What Happened series, and there's a couple more like that. They're usually pretty quick, and they do a good job of handling a lot of the narratives around something. If you want to watch that, you can watch that. Just like if you want to watch somebody going back and playing a game, you can watch Josh Strife Hayes, right? Or G-Man Lives. Or if you want somebody who's covering the piece of history and trying as much as possible, unless I have a lot of personal involvement, naturally, to kind of keep a more impartial view with a timeline and the clues and the detectiving and the research. And that's what I do. So what I'm trying to say, long-winded way of saying, all of us do kind of different things. And I think it's fine to watch all of us because you're going to get different, even covering the same topics, you're going to get different things because we're focused on different stuff. Now, that being said, I just mentioned a bunch of good YouTubers, but there's a lot of shit ones. And there's some that are very popular, more popular than the names that I mentioned. And they poison the well for people like us, where it puts pressure on us to have to put out content faster because we feel like we have to keep up with things. Meanwhile, the content that they're putting out is not very good. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a balancing act. All of us content creators have to balance, you know. By the way, is GGG reaching out to you for PoE 2? So they did a long time ago. I want to say like last year, but I haven't gotten anything back from them. So maybe I should email them. Will we get a Skull and Bones video? Yes, Luke. Good question. Oh, one of my rubber bands just busted. Hey, what's up, Snoozy? Yeah, I think Josh is British, therefore invalid law. I think there's just so much content on YouTube now. It's beautiful. But there's also a trap of that. Now everyone can make content, so you're getting a bunch of people with no actual backgrounds talking about this stuff. And again, people often thought back in the day that us turbo nerds who gatekept everyone were just being assholes. We were. But it also turns out that there's some value in having some kind of like gatekeeping mentality. And I'm writing a video, or editing it right now, actually, on this subject, because it helps preserve things like integrity, like what's considered a good amount of hours for a review, what's considered industry standards. These are things we could gatekeep, and we could have gatekept, or gatekept. And we can still gatekeep them now, and I think we're doing a better job of that in modern times. You see people constantly saying on YouTube and comment sections, this isn't an MMO. And me, I'm just like smiling the whole time. Not because I'm trying to downgrade every virtual world massively, you know, their status or scale, but literally just because I'm so happy to see the level of interest in the industry, but more importantly, the education levels are increasing. You have kids in Minecraft knowing what a virtual world is. You have Minecraft servers with 1,000 players. Like, things are changing, you know? It's not, everything's not so cut dry. Survival genre is over here. The ORPG genre with Japan's over here. And then MMOs are all the way over here. It's like, no, things are becoming mixed. We're seeing a lot of these things. We're seeing massive games seem kind of small. We're seeing small games seem kind of massive, like Monster Hunter Wilds or Dragon's Dogma. And we're seeing the old legends still kicking and still proving why community and identity and building a world is so important. Games like old school RuneScape, private servers like Project 1999, private servers like Star Wars Galaxy's emulator, the EMU, as they say. Many more examples. But you see what I'm saying? Like, things meshed a lot. And I think that's fine. But I think the problem with losing gatekeeping and feeling like we basically like bullied it out of so many people to even participate in. In fact, these days, literally somebody will make fun of you for like knowing something. Oh wow, you know something? What a nerd. It's like, huh? Or you'll be like, hey, let's talk about Dauntless, actually. I'll skip ahead because I was gonna cover Foamstars, but let's cover Dauntless first. Like with Dauntless, I'm not surprised that I ever get comments that dislike the video or dislike my opinions or whatever else. But I'm always surprised by how like low level the criticism actually is. For example, in Dauntless, there was like this, I guess like a bit of like a debate in the comment section that people had concerning the art style. They felt like the art style, these people, the players, wasn't that problematic. Now, part of the problem is that if you've already been playing the game and you've already accepted it, of course the art style didn't matter to you. You're still playing the game, right? So meaning you're not selecting for all of the millions of players who didn't play the game. Now, another thing important about markets and how they work is that you can never just come in and ignore them. You will get smacked around. Look at Amazon when they tried to make a phone. Look at Google when they tried to make Stadia. Or Stadia, or whatever the fuck the name is. And there's so many more examples. You come in and you don't, you know, act correct and you don't respect the market, you're just gonna get smacked. And WoW smacked so many games because they missed the essence of what WoW was. Recently I talked about this. There's an article on Raph Koster's website, for those that don't know. This is relevant because I'm currently writing Death of a Game Ultima Online. Raph Koster is the lead designer on that game. He also designed Star Wars Galaxies. He's one of my favorite designers. Something Raph said that was interesting was actually in response to me and Josh. He said, I think that Nerd and Josh are spot on when they make the assertions that the modern formula for a theme park is not sustainable. Raph literally says it isn't sustainable. But here's the problem. We did it because we wanted to circumvent the process of not having all the sandbox features, essentially, right? Everything's supposed to actually mesh together. Sandbox is never supposed to fight against theme park. They're always supposed to be together. And a theme park isn't an evolution of a sandbox. They always existed in parallel together, even when they were multi-user dungeons, aka MUDs that predated MMORPGs. So something that he also said in this article, Raph did, was that he pointed out that because this is the case, people have such a misunderstanding of the market. And I use that to extend to my point about WoW. People think that WoW didn't have a world. Then why did classic WoW work? If it was just a game based on mechanics from 2004, it wasn't. It was also based on the world. It was also based on the community. It was also based on RPG elements, right? That stuff is important. It's why it's still played today. And people, I think, handwave WoW because it got theme park and more instanced as it went on. So they always insult it by saying, oh, like WoW, like, you know, WoW just kind of like ruined the industry. It's like, no, WoW was an MMORPG. Come on. Nerds used to be cool in the streaming scene. It was our scene. Yeah. I would agree with that. I also think back in the day, playing an MMO, most of these MMOs in general had very high difficulty levels where you had to know a lot of things. So either that meant that you had to spend a lot of time researching or talking to other people. The shock, the horror. No, you had to talk to people to actually learn how to play. And I think that one thing that gets misunderstood, in fact, I'm going to marry it to why I brought up that Raph Koster article, is actually when I was reading that article, I read something that blew my fucking mind. I've been on this recent craze, as many of you might know, that I feel like, and I'll write a video on it next, after the gatekeeping one, that I feel like the industry's biggest problem is recruiting and the talent. Because think about it. If you have talented developers, even if the fucking leadership's Nazi-like, they can still make magic. Ultima Online's work environment was described as a sweatshop. Remember, they got acquired by EA and all that stuff, but this is even before then. It was considered like a sweatshop, like not very good working conditions. And that was pretty common for the games back in the day, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it was not a pretty situation. And look at what they were able to do. And the point that I'm actually making is not that, so you can just abuse developers. No, here's the point. Every developer who worked in major positions on that project, Ultima Online that is, according to Raph Koster, and I trust his opinion, they were multi-user dungeon nerds. They were mud grinders. AKA, like, if they developed on WoW, they were EverQuest grinders, like Jeff Kaplan was. You see what I'm saying? And that's because I've made this point before, but now I have a lot more evidence to back it up. Brad McQuaid got his start on a MUD, where he was a turbo nerd, and then took that idea and developed EverQuest around it, which he intentionally designed to be more cooperative based, because that was based on the kind of MUD that they were playing at the time, where it wasn't very PvP focused, because MUDs had a very, broad category. There was a lot of different kinds. The Gower brothers were playing Deku MUD. You can go down the list, right? Like Raph Koster, Richard Bartle. Like, all these people were turbo nerds, and they started the industry. Now, I want you to look at the current MMORPGs and MMORPGs, besides the exceptions, like Yoshi P is a turbo nerd and a great developer. But what about the other ones? Do you guys even know any of them off the top of your head? Probably not, right? And that's not because I'm saying they need to all have bigger notoriety and bigger names. The point that I'm making is back then, the developers and designers put their name on the product and they stuck by it. I mean, Aradune, aka Brad McQuaid, would be on the forums debating people. Like, he was kind of notorious for it. Like, You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just a different level of fervor and kind of like nerd excitement that was going on with these games. And WoW had that too. People give WoW so much shit because it changed the industry. But so did EverQuest. So did Ultima Online. They just changed it in such a short span. And WoW had the larger, more blockbuster effect. Because think about it. Ultima was celebrating 100K. EverQuest was celebrating like 300K. Guys, WoW was celebrating millions. You know what I'm saying? It's like completely different ballgame there. And their reign lasted way longer. So their impact was much greater in that sense. Maybe not design-wise, but in that sense. And I'm saying maybe not design-wise because it's hard to make that argument. Another thing too, about the kind of development of stuff, to go back to my point, is that because the recruitment is so bad, that's also part of the problem. You can't just blame the talent, you also have to blame those that recruit. If I'm going to hire somebody to run my virtual world and their only experience is like 7 years ago working on Ratchet and Clank, unless they can prove to me an extensive virtual world history, why would I let them develop my game? It makes literally zero sense. But I just described New World, so I just described New World for you. So you see what I'm saying? It's just like, this is still happening today, and you're just like, or it's getting worse. You're like, how's it getting worse? There's more money. It's because developers take a check when they know damn well they have no fucking clue what they're doing. Can you fault them? I can. But, you know, can we all fault them? They're taking a paycheck, they're doing what they have to do. I don't know if I could really like hate them for that. But as an artist, I hate them. As a virtual world enthusiast, you know, fanboy, I hate them. Because they're not helping the matter. They're not helping matters. They're making things worse. They're why in so many of these modern, you know, games, not counting games like Final Fantasy XIV, their systems are outdated. They don't even work, right? Like New World launching with a system that they completely gutted, like, or close baiting, and then completely taking 2 more years to redo the game, and then redoing the game after they launch it again. It's just like, does that not come through to you guys? That's because there's not a nerd like one of you guys, or me, in that room saying like, hey guys, this other games have done this and it failed. Or this is missing this. Or what about this thing? Right? Like, how come that's not happening? And so I have to blame both. I have to blame the developers, and I have to blame the recruiters because they don't know how to find talent. Look, I'm gonna make it easy for you guys. You guys can steal this and put this in your recruitment videos. Do you play MMOs? Do you play ORPGs or MMORPGs? Do you play survival games? If the answer is no to all of these, no, no, but seriously, like, what the fuck are you doing here? Go learn. Put 1,000 hours into WoW, or fucking 1,000 hours into OSRS. Do a hardcore playthrough. Show me an Iron Man mode completion. I'm not capping. People think this shit's a fucking like joke. No, that's what it should be. I should be able to walk in and the lead head honchos are all dick swinging around. The development studio, yeah, bro, I got the achievement world first, the blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, bro, I got you. You see what I'm saying? I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, but like literally, I would expect them to be super talented and know the industry in and out. And it's not just New World as the example I've used. I've also advised on other projects and other virtual worlds. And sometimes I have to tell the guys, play the games first. Read Raph Koster's books about them and Bartle's books about them. But like, are you just literally like playing like 40 hours of WoW or 100 hours of WoW or 300 hours of WoW and being like, yeah, I really know MMOs? You don't know shit, dude. How many people in chat right now will laugh at 300 hours? I know I'm not the only turbo nerd here, okay? I know I'm not, okay? Right? I got 300 hours and Rust. Yes, this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, 300 hours for MMO grinders, nothing. Like, my favorite MMOs, bare minimum, I have 2K plus hours in them. Like, that's a bare minimum. I was playing those games year round, sometimes for 5-6 hours in a day. And that's not to say all your developers have to be no-lifers like me, as a child or whatever. But they should have that fervor about them. They should be sharp with systems. They should know what other games have, what works and what doesn't work, right? And when the community manager in multiple projects that I've been involved with or observed knows more than all the developers do about the industry, it's like, that seems backwards, man. It seems really backwards. So yeah, anyway. But yeah, so some people were saying on the Dauntless video that, you know, the art style is not really that bad because, you know, in my opinion, it's not that bad. Now, something that I think people misunderstand about art styles is that art is subjective. You can like something, I cannot like it. But did you know that, like, a style is actually more than just a single instance? It's like a language versus a word, right? So a style for something is like a language, a lot of words versus just 1 or 2, 3 words. So when a style isn't very good, that means a lot of things are wrong about the game. It doesn't just mean it doesn't look good, right? And so something that I was talking about recently on Discord about this was Dauntless. So this is a very recent, as of 3 weeks ago, so after the video. And I was blown away by how horrible this game looks. And that people can't see that part. Like, I get that to some extent, but just because you like something doesn't mean that other people did as well when the game failed, because most people went and purchased Monster Hunter World for $60 instead of playing a free-to-play game. But I'll describe to you guys what I'm talking about here. Okay, first, there is no momentum in this game. You notice how they're able to almost turn almost immediately on a dime. I'm gonna teach you guys some science here, okay? This is how I break shit down, and I do this to clients whenever I do consulting work. There's a little bit there, but that looks more like a visual thing. The run animation is stunted, like his legs are heavier than the rest of his body. He's not even making impact on the ground. You can literally see him gliding on the ground. How can you guys think that this can compete with a Japanese fucking online RPG? This is what I was talking about in Discord, but now I can put the passion into voice form. The West is getting slaughtered out here, guys, when it comes to ORPGs. Dragon's Dogma, Monster Hunter, Phantasy Star. I mean, there's more Monster Hunters coming. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Elden Ring, now getting an online version. Like, we're getting slaughtered by them. And it's funny because every time we try to do a copycat game, everyone wants you to coddle the West about it. Why am I coddling them? These were veteran developers. They were specifically hired by venture capital funding. They had everything going for them. I had some people in my comment section being like, it was the story of one guy creating a game because he felt like he wanted people to be able to play Monster Hunter who didn't have the correct specifications or like access. What do you mean specifications? It was never even on the PC before that. What are you talking about? You mean just on the PC in general? Okay, cool. That's a lofty goal. But then riddle me this. What game in Japan looks like Dauntless? I'm not even just saying visually, I'm saying where you glide around with no impact on the ground, everything looks colorful, there's no threat, and the environments are copy-pasted. Which Japanese action RPGs like that? None of them. There's no beauty in that. What the those games don't blow up. Hey, Happy New Year's as well, Blake. If that's the Blake I think it is, especially, Happy New Year's. Now check this out. This is like fighting like a top boss, right? Okay, let me put this into context for you guys. When you dodge in Monster Hunter, you dodge because you think the monster's going to swing something around and cave your head in. In this game, you dodge because the monster put some clouds on the ground. Right here. He put some clouds on the ground. Oh, you just don't like, you know, more kiddie visual. What the fuck? I like Fortnite. Do you guys not know that about me? It's like a secret. I actually like Fortnite. But people comparing this to Fortnite are insulting Fortnite by doing that. Fortnite is a wonder, guys. The engine that backs Fortnite is the best engine in the world, I think. And the engine that runs in that game is fucking amazing. Look at the frame drops in this, bro. And yes, I know people are gonna say this is on Switch. Yes, but they launched this after the game came out. And this is an update that they pushed onto the console. And you think it gets better on PC. It's like, is it Awakening? I wish it did. I said gameplay. Why is it giving me trailers, bro? I hate when that happens. Okay, here we go. Let me skip ahead. Sorry, homie. Okay, so let's break this down. Whenever this character is attacking with their spear, it doesn't make any sense. They're changing stances for no reason. The animation in this game is horrible. Like, people comparing it to Spellbreak. Spellbreak has amazing animation. Okay, watch this, watch this. Like, is anyone actually seeing this segment and being like, damn, action impact? Let me break it down for people that don't realize why I'm shitting on it so much. Watch. The momentum makes literally no sense at all. And it's not even a jump. He did like a little like skip kind of hop thing. That was kind of cool. That little like side dodge thing was kind of cool. I'm digging that. The way this guy holds his weapon makes his character model look cooler. What the fuck? He just passed right through him. I guess he technically knocked him down. Okay, so he dodges to get out of that. Wait. Okay, so that's a tail hitbox. Like, do people actually watch this and think, damn, this shit looks awesome? For this type of RPG, I'll show you. And it's so funny how people try to make it about me liking realistic graphics. As if they don't know that my first online game was Habbo Hotel. Like, you can't pin me wherever you want to pin me just because I don't like whatever game that most people didn't like. And Dauntless failed because it's not a very good game. Like, it's not just because of the Awakening stuff. It was already floundering before that. Why else did they sell the company 3 or 4 times? Now, notice how his feet are making impacts. You can even see him kicking the dirt. He just slid off the ground and the dirt came up off the same dirt. Look at this. The combat actually makes sense. He's attack buffering. He's waiting. Okay, when do I go? When do I go? He's not just smash, 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 which is what you do in Dauntless. Look at the impact. You can actually see him land a swing. You can see the monster fluttering around with the particle effects going everywhere. I mean, bro, this takes fucking 2 minutes to figure it out. And that's where I just feel like people aren't using their critical brain. They just like something And when games are free to play games get a very strong like fandom to them. But I mean, there's literally footage recently of Dauntless lagging. Like, you can watch recent footage of the game lagging, still having the same hit registration issues that it had since the beginning. What are we talking about here? The game doesn't even function on a base level that well. And people want us to be nice to it because it's supposed to be a competitor. I don't know, sorry. I'll get off that shit, but I thought that shit was pretty absurd. You can see which one's the winner. It's not because of the graphics, guys. It's because the world. It's because it feels more impactful. It's because the monsters are scary and you're worried about them. It's not just running around being like, okay, time to kill the next green rage tail, whatever the fuck thing, you know? You still got all your Fernie. That's funny as fuck. I did. I mean, you know that because I talked to you about it. But Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, for people that thought that I was, again, being a meanie head, I'm pulling a game from the 3DS. And I can show you, no editing, that even this game looks better than that game. Right? Look, let's pause it here. Distinct art style. I can already see and understand everything I'm viewing. And I'm not getting destroyed by my eyes. Or like my eyes aren't getting destroyed, sorry. Look at this. Dude, the movement in this looks like Dauntless, which is kind of funny. I got hacked. Damn, you missed that cast? That happened literally a year ago. You missed the story. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I got hacked. Pretty much it. Was crazy, but really nothing else to the story other than that. I mean, look at this, man. The environments look different. The characters look like they belong. The monsters match the environments. There's just so many things you can see just with 5 seconds of thinking about it, but I think that market research is something that most people think that they understand. Because they're like, well, I play games, I play multiple games, and I can compare them. There's my market research. It's not what market research is. Market research is also target audience, right? Who are you making this for? What was your elevator pitch, right? What's the brass tacks of whatever it is that you're trying to sell, right? Like, it's optimization. Who dis? What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Dauntless. I derailed myself, but anyway, I do that a lot. Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't even showing you guys the gameplay. Check this out. This is on the 3DS. The environments already look 10 times better than Dauntless. Because there's actually effort being put in to make things match together. Right? But yeah, that was my giant rant. It's just like, man, everyone wants to be nice about the amount of Western titles that are trying to be Japanese, but it's just like, they're not doing a very good job of it, so we shouldn't be nice about it. Look at this, man. This shit looks epic as fuck. I love how dorky their run is, by the way. It cracks me up. But that's something that, like, Monster Hunter's kind of always kept. They always keep that little, like, like you're really trying to run from a monster. I don't know, that shit's funny to me. Let's talk about Foamstars, though, before I go, because we didn't talk about it yet. Foamstars is an example of market research. While Dauntless is a complete failure of market research, I think Foamstars is more of like being basically a slave to your own system. I think had Square Enix not tried to sell this thing like a live service and actually taken some time to build something, right? it would have had a much better chance. The problem, though, is that Foamstars' market research in terms of target audience makes no sense. They look grown, but they act like kids. And it's for kids, and all the color palettes are dark, but the foam is bright. It's just like, these are things that, like, if you would even just think about it for a little bit in terms of market research versus your competitor, I think you would figure this out. But I think the reason why it doesn't happen, even with a rich company like Square Enix, is because they're just like, well, we want you guys to make something. They come up with an idea, and Square Enix approves it. I don't think they're actually checking the market research for ourselves. No, they're just approving a project. They're hoping that that team did the market research already. If your game's seasons are shutting down within 1 year, you didn't. And I think that that's an example of, that's what I think about Foamstars. It's an example of a game that didn't really seem like it was developed by player feedback. And simultaneously, it wasn't made with like a player target audience in mind. So it feels literally like, hey, here's an idea. Cool, let's do it. Not why and for who. I agree. Madness. I like how it's against the poop monkey. But yeah, it's like, I can't even watch Foamstars for that long. The paint just hurts my eyes, man. It's like super bright. It's like, my eyes. And then Dauntless, I know people think, oh, you have such a bone to pick. It's not the bone to pick. It could be any game. My issue is you have a company that took venture capital funding and founders packs from their audience, right? Pretended to you that we're taking your feedback in, all the while having largely, if not all, venture capital funding. Nerd, what are you saying? How could you say that? Because the venture capitalists are going to get their pound of flesh, which means that they can't answer you first. They have to answer them first, right? That's an issue I have with venture capital funding in live service or online games. They're not worried about you. They're worried about them. And you're just like in between that. And that's the, another bizarre part of the whole Dauntless thing is that you guys were the players of the game. You were disrespected. You were strung along. You were promised things that never came. You had your progression reset, I think 2, maybe 3 times. Your game was in early access for multiple years and everyone moved on from it. There's a lot of things that like the Dauntless fan base should be annoyed and mad about. And yet it's like, because people don't want to like mix their interest of the game with like, is this company treating me fairly? They don't want to like face that. And I'm telling you, you should face that. When this company has sold 4 times and most, if not all of the veteran leadership are gone. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you start to piece things together. And to be clear, it wasn't just the Steam launch that made developers leave. As I talked about in my video, they left the year before. They were already gone. The majority of the talent already left. So if you pay attention to stuff like that, you realize, how could it ever be about, I don't like this game, so I'm going to design a whole video and narrative around hating it? Or is it more that you're just reporting on whatever events happen on the timeline and then remarking about the significance of them when they do happen? And then asking people that play the game to ask yourself, what value are you getting versus buying a Monster Hunter game? I have like 100 comments telling me the ironic thing is that Dauntless helped them discover Monster Hunter World. Which is why you can't listen to marketing directors. Like the marketing director on Dauntless said, when Monster Hunter World came out, even though it did hurt our player base numbers, we think it's actually going to help because it's expanding the ceiling. but the ceiling isn't for you. And that target audience isn't interested in your game. And that's where I'd like to petition the Dauntless fanboys, if you're still here, if any of you are here, or if you watch this later. How is it that Monster Hunter World sold dozens of millions of copies and Dauntless couldn't eclipse a couple thousand when it launched on concurrent? Now mix that with the overall total players for a free-to-play game. Dauntless bragged about 15 million. Guys, I'm gonna pull this up so you can see. Monster Hunter World sold 25 million copies. And 7 million more, counting the expansion. If we do the math here, do you guys want me to do the math here? That means that for a free-to-play game that is completely free and on every platform, cross-progression and cross-play, besides mobile, which is why the game looks and plays like shit, by the way. But anyway, everyone ignored that part. 15 million players. Monster Hunter World, with its 3 platforms, sold at a box price of, let's say it's not full price all the time, so let's say it's like $45, $48 or some shit. Like, can you imagine how much more orders of magnitude Monster Hunter World made as an impact and money? And that's what I'm saying, is just like, free-to-play games are a little bit misleading. They give you a giant player count, but Monster Hunter World's player count was bigger than theirs for a paid game. Speak bad about Dauntless again, I dare you, I triple dog dare you. Financial Management 101, who took money, or who you took money from matters. Yeah, it does. And the other thing that I know most people don't care about this, I barely care about it. But the funding that they got from a venture capital funding wasn't just funding too. It was Series C, meaning they were convincing them and themselves they were already a successful business. Phoenix Labs did horrible business, besides Dauntless not being a very good game. And I think it's okay to talk about that. Doesn't make me, well, might make me a meanie head, but makes me a right meanie head. So I'll take that. But I'm very excited and happy for the success that the Dauntless video got, because I think that people are interested in the subject. Monster Hunter Wilds is coming in a month, and people just want to know what happened with Awakening. You know, why is the Steam launch at 15%? Like, voted up, you know? It's one of the worst ratings. It's not just because of the Awakening update, right? If you read through the updates, and or rather reviews, you can see people still complaining about bugs, performance issues, and so on and so forth. So I think a lot of these people wanted to hear the story, you know? And the next one is going to be a pioneer, a massive one, no pun intended, the first, really. UO, Ultima Online. And I'm trying to get an interview with Raph Koster about it, so I can talk to him about that game, and some other things. But we'll see. But I'm excited about that one. The heck is Dredge? Fishing adventure with a sinister undercut. Sell your catch, upgrade your vessel, and dredge the depths for long buried relics. Interesting. Hey, what's up, Booty Ting? Sadly, I'm about to head out because, of course, yesterday was New Year's and I had a crazy New Year's. And I need to rest. But I wanted to talk to you guys today, wish everyone a happy New Year's, and just rant about some shit like we did. So that's been fun. My cousin's playing it. What the? Yeah, see, here's a comment right here. Tyler Johnson 399 says, I enjoyed the art style of Dauntless, I can't lie. You were highly critical based on opinion there. So to be clear, if it's just my opinion, it's just my opinion. You can discard it largely, even if I'm like smart or cool or some shit. You can just kind of like discard it, right? That's why I don't design my series just based on my opinion. I've always designed it based on a committee. Other detectives, other developers, other media critics, right? I'm compiling many different ideas. And when many people are saying the art style sucks and looks like a mobile game, or looks like WoW from 2005, or what are some other ones I've gotten? Oh shit. It looks like a game. This is the best one I've gotten. It looks like a video game that people in movies are playing. Was one of the ones I got. So like, to be clear, if it's a lot of people saying it, it's not just opinion, right? There's some sort of basis there. And then going past that, the art I just showed you guys is pretty boring, even if you like it. Meaning it's the same colors used over and over again, maps copy and pasted with different colors, multiple monsters just having overlays over them. That's not debatable. That's literally true. So I showed you guys examples of that. So that's another example of how that's not opinion, right? That's not good. The fact that the monsters don't match the art style of the maps and the maps feel like lifeless set pieces is not good. And that's also part of the art style and the visual identity and style, as we were talking about earlier, right? Now going past that, even worse than that, why is the game so colorful? Like, if the idea is because, well, it's stylized, not all stylized games are super colorful. Because the issue that you have whenever you make a game very colorful, it becomes harder to read, right? And Dauntless has readability issues, right? You can see it just by watching gameplay. There's massive readability issues because of the colors that are used. They're very contrasting to whatever it is that you're playing, even if it is pretty colorful in its essence, right? Now going past that, the animations. So it was a highly critical opinion. Didn't know those were allowed. And yeah, no, I guess he did say that, highly critical on opinion. And then he says, this video feels like an outlet to berate a game the whole time. To be clear, the art style wasn't the only thing that the game failed on. And that's what I'm saying is when people like something, they ignore logic just because they like something. And at first it's kind of like, aw, because I was the same way. And then after a while, when you're trying to have discussions about stuff, you're just like, okay, but like, can the adults come out? Because I need to talk to people who can actually like formulate their thoughts and actually be able to engage with the content that they're talking about, right? Because if it was about just berating the game, then why did I berate the company as well? Because the company did a bad job. So I actually spent most of my time berating the company and just talked about the game as the consequence of that. Because the company made the game, right? Look, it says, whilst there are things I agree with, I feel like there weren't any positives to warrant the title death of a game. What do they mean positive? Be dead ass with me, okay? Be real with me. What does Dauntless do better than Monster Hunter World? Cross progression. That's it. That is it. What does it do better? It takes less time to beat. It is easier. Way easier. The combat is worse. Even if you like it, are we gonna like go back to watching the videos again and debating like animations and clarity and all that stuff? That's not opinion. You can see it. Now, you could still see it and still have an opinion that you prefer the other one. That's fair. But the problem is that the majority of people didn't, which is why they didn't like the game, right? So you can't just hand wave that. And then here's the person mentioning their Dear Diary stuff. And people get mad when I say this stuff, but the truth is that, like, if I had an issue with a video, I wouldn't Dear Diary how I felt about it. What does that mean? Like, you just don't understand that. I used to play this game and it was just like so much fun, and like this game was great at one time, and it's just, you just don't see it for what it was. You just don't know. It's like, that's Dear Diary. None of that means anything to me, my dude. Is it cool that a game had an emotional impact on you? Yeah, that's why I love this shit, dude. It's why I work in this industry. But how does it affect me? It doesn't affect me at all, guy. Like, you had all that emotional impact. I didn't. And I didn't like the game, and I'm telling you reasons why, and you're just emotionally focusing on the one thing that you didn't like because it's the thing you liked. Think about that. Like, that's the extent of most criticism that you'll get. Because I like this thing, and you don't, and so therefore, you're mean. Okay. I mean, probably true, but I also think that it probably has to do with the fact that my series is not designed to make you feel good at all the time. At every time. Would I like to make you feel good the majority of the time? Yes. But what if I'm covering a sad story? Like City of Heroes before the Homecoming came. People told me they cried over that video. I've said this before. That is the first time I ever thought my videos had any emotional impact. You guys gotta remember, I started on YouTube in 2007 when it pretty much started, and I was a YouTube poop slash FMV slash like troll video guy. I literally would do like troll videos in different MMO communities, and I was known for it. Like, you can look up some of my videos, and they actually have a lot of views for the time especially. But it was not serious content, and I couldn't monetize it because I would just like steal like videos and trailers and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would just be like a poop, like that's what we called it back in the day. I know it sounds stupid, but YouTube poop is what we used to call that shit. It was like meme videos. And that's what I used to do. And then I did gameplay videos with no commentary because I didn't want to talk. And then I did commentary and guide videos. And then I kind of came to where I'm at now, right? So I've been through kind of a lot of these like different errors, if you will. And one thing has always remained, that no matter what, if you feel emotional about something and that overrides your ability to explain yourself, it's never really going to be that great communication. I think that that's what people like this maybe don't understand, is that it's not just a matter of people like me not caring about your Dear Diary stuff. It's more that, like, you have to find a way to make me care about it, because that's called being a human, right? So here's an example. You can't say the art style shit because it had an emotional impact on me. Boom. I just gave them free game. They literally could just critique me with the same shit they're already saying, and it would actually kind of make sense, right? Like, they like something, and they're saying that it made them feel a way emotionally. But instead, I'm getting a sad story about why wasn't I nicer to a game that they liked, when it's just like, I don't know what you want from me, bro. I can't make your late nights, you know, smoother or whatever the fuck. I don't know what it is that you want from me. But that being said, I like to spend time to actually engage with my audience, including the comment sections, even if they're dog shit. A lot of the time. Because I actually think that you can find, like, value. For example, here's a good post. I think another nail in the coffin, at least for me, was when my friends when my friends and I were at a trailer reveal. We were kind of taken aback by how all the ultimates were nearly identical to the Splatoon ones. Like, we couldn't even name exactly, we could name exactly what they were referencing. And it gave us no faith that the game was going to be original. But that's just my opinion as a die-hard Splatooner. That's fucking fantastic feedback. This is a fantastic comment, and I'm not trying to say every comment's gonna be this good or should be this good, blah, 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 blah. But that's why it's like people will push back. Why do you even read that shit? Like, especially YouTubers. I don't want to give you guys names, but other YouTubers I talk to literally mock me for even reading the comments constantly. Anytime they always make fun of me. Anytime I meet a YouTuber, you read the comments? And I'm always like, yes. I feel like it's what got me here, is engaging with my audience. I'm a community guy, so I'm focused on that. And yeah, sometimes it makes me lose followers too, because people who can't engage with someone like me, right, who's able to shit post, be logical, and then simultaneously hear you out if you have some shit to say, some people aren't used to that. And they're also not interested in a content creator's actual personality. They're interested in the constructed version that is presented to them in the videos that they're familiar with. And they don't want that to change, because that reality seems different for them. But like people have learned about me over the years, and recently especially with the StarCraft and Titanfall videos, is that I've never had patience for idiots. It's why I'm a niche YouTuber. Like, you guys ever think about that? Why don't I make more mainstream videos? It's because I don't want to. It's because I don't want to engage with that kind of content and that kind of audience. I'm sorry, I'm the old, like, you know, get off my lawn MMO player guy. That's me, and I'm cool with being that person. Because I'm plenty approachable. You can send me a message on Discord, you can post a comment and I'm gonna respond to it, probably even like the comment or heart it. You can tweet me something, you can Instagram me something. I'm one of the more approachable content creators, but people mistake approachability with not having boundaries or a backbone or your own sense of self. And yeah, my sense of self says I don't have patience for idiots who don't have patience for me. I don't have patience for people who comment on my videos but don't even watch them. When they have like a big bone to pick, but their bone to pick is explained in the video. It's like, is it possible this person really watched the video? Yes. But if I had to give you like a percentage, like 20% chance? Well, how would they miss things like that? Like my StarCraft 2 video. Oh, wow, you expect people to know all of this stuff. No, I just expect them to watch the video. In the video, remember, there's a part at the end where I said, if you make a comment like this, you're an idiot who's not making a case. You're just making things worse for yourself and the community because you're doing this. La 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 la. And I had hundreds of comments literally saying those exact things. And yeah, I have fun with them. And people made response videos and streams, and I got messages from like some longtime viewers being like, I just can't believe it. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What happened? Like, I can't believe you made fun of this guy because he didn't watch your video. And I'm like, how have you watched my content for this long? And I recognize your name, and you don't know that about me. I've always been that way. I will always be that way. I do expect you to watch the content, especially if you're engaging with it. I got called a nerd and a debate lord in the comment section because of this. And even funnier, because I like protecting my community from this nonsense, we have rules that actually enforce the fact that people do debate. A common misconception is that people think debate's about being nice. It isn't. Is being cordial nice? Yes, especially with people you don't know. But if you're already homies with somebody, friends with somebody, are you always cordial when you're debating with them? Maybe you guys are. I'm not. I shit with my friends all the time. We go back and forth. We're throwing monkey shit at each other. You know what I'm saying? Just for fun. We know we can handle it and we're friends, right? So whenever I speak to people in my Discord, you can just go through and read my post history, especially if you want to make more response videos on how evil I am. And you'll find that I actually shoot the shit all the time with my audience. And that we make fun of each other and bust each other's balls and have, you know, funny exchanges all the time. Because that's my Discord. And the people that join that have a lot more interest in me as a person and engaging with me. So they get to see the IRC part of me. The type fucking way too fast and you can't respond to me part. The posting random memes at fucking 2 a.m. at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get to see more of that of me. The people who just watch the videos only get the detective nerd, or rather, his name is NS. The detective. I'm Nerd Slayer. These are different characters. I'm really surprised that people don't know that yet. We have different names. Have you guys never noticed that? NS, Nerd Slayer, right? Like on Discord, what's my name? NS. What's my channel's name? Nerd Slayer Studios. What's the detective who's featured in the Death of a Game series? NS, right? It's not that hard to connect these things together. That my idea is that NS is the detective, right? Who's a part of me. And Nerd Slayer is the shit poster. I've always been that person. So you can imagine, much to my chagrin and enjoyment, as I'm reading through these comments, when people are asking me, bro, how are you doing? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, mentally, how are you? Like, are you okay? It's the Inglorious Bastards meme. You're just admitting you don't know me. Am I okay? Imagine being psychoanalyzed by strangers online because they watch your videos and because you were mean to somebody in the comment section. It's just strange that people have this obsession with psychoanalysis. And I'll be honest, it's a very Western thing, because the people who psychoanalyze the most are Americans in my experience, as an American. Where they somehow think they have this like bead on who you are. Like, oh dude, remember that one time he said that thing? Dude, like, that means that when he was a kid, like, he got left to wolves and the wolves took care of him. Then he got adopted into foster care. And ever since then, his brain's just been, it's like, what the how do you guys know any, or where are the theories even coming from? Based on what interactions? How can you analyze somebody you don't even know and you don't even talk to? That shit's weird, man. Parasocial shit's weird, guys. You don't have to be parasocial. You can just be social. You could just say hello to me. You could just ask me how I'm doing. You could just tell me you hate or like a video. Directly. Doesn't have to be, oh, the nerd that I know, he would never make fun of somebody. Then why do I have a collage from years in the past of me doing just that thing? I posted it in my Discord because my Discord audience doesn't care about any of that stuff. Because they actually get in Discord chat and talk with me, because you can do that. Especially if I'm playing a game at the time. There's no barrier. Literally, you can just join in and you're talking to me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I'm always going to be that way. Even if these idiots want to try to stir shit up and make me feel bad about being myself. Because I'm never going to feel bad about being myself. Who I am is what made this channel. The series is me. It's just not all of my personality, right? I've been trying to bring more of my humor in over the years, but, you know, it's a slow process because my humor doesn't really match being a detective that much until I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I get purity tested a lot. And if we take this serious for a second, if I really am supposed to be a detective, why am I getting purity tested? What detectives were purity tests succeeding? Like, which detectives passed the purity testing? Anyone want to list some examples? And some of my OGs in chat know this example, or know this trick that I do, so that they're not going to say anything. But the point is that the vast majority of detectives in fictional media, and even real life that are known for these stings and so on and so forth that movies were written about, they're kind of known for kind of going low when they could have gone high. It's kind of what they're literally known for. So that part always cracks me up, to think that you expect me to be the purity tested, like social, successful PC person. It's like, why would I be that person? I was an MMO turbo nerd who played way too much Galaxies because these adults seem to understand me more than the kids in my neighborhood. I've always been the odd man out. Calling me weird is not an insult, it's just an acknowledgement of what's true. I am weird, and I'm cool with that. And that's the beauty of MMOs and virtual worlds. You can connect people from all different walks of life, all weird fucking people. Not all of you are weird, but you know what I'm saying, like all kinds of people. And next thing you know, we're fucking killing Lich King. It's like, my mind is still blown by stuff like that. That's how much I love this industry and love this genre. Love your Foamstar video the other day. Even was watching Lawbreakers. Remember Radical Heights? Yeah. What's up, Connor? Happy New Year to those that just joined, by the way. I'm not angry, I'm just concerned. Yeah, it's something that I made fun of in one of my recent videos that I'm writing, where I said, like, when people are always like, bro, a true fan wouldn't do this. It's the same tier comment when people are like, bro, like, I'm not angry, I'm worried about you. Okay, I'm gonna teach you something, because maybe you don't have any social skills, but I'm gonna teach you something. When you're worried about somebody, you should have a relationship with them first. I personally think that's a social skill, because otherwise you're gonna be worrying about people you don't even know. You're gonna get overwhelmed. Your relationships with your family and your friends come first, right? You should worry about those. Then after you're done worrying about those, you'll realize something. If I'm worrying about somebody in this particular way that I'm prescribing, are they actually my friend? If I have never had a conversation with you, I know this hurts some people's feelings for some reason, but we're not friends. You just watch my videos. Like, do I really have to keep telling this to people until I'm dead, basically doing this job? Like, until the wheels fall off? That just watching my video is not the same as being a customer or being a fan or being a friend to me. Like, there's different levels of that stuff. Like, some people on the spectrum, like especially autistic people, might not understand that, but one thing that autistic people are very good at is understanding rules. They just have to be taught them. So if people don't know that, then maybe I should do more teaching in my videos. That's parasocial, is when you don't have a relationship with somebody. So even if you like a content creator, psychoanalyzing them is parasocial. Does that make sense? So for example, I like Video Game Donkey. And at the time, whenever he was going through the whole machinima stuff, I was right there supporting him. But did I emotionally support him as a person? No, because I never talked to him. I think I played a game with him one time. I don't even know who he is. I like his content a lot. I would tell that to him. I love your content. And I would also say, how are you? I'd like to get to know you. And then maybe from points after that, I would start to form psychoanalysis and, oh, you're acting different. You're acting... But that's the thing that's weird to me, is that I'm a virtual world guy, and people want to act like it doesn't work the same online. It does. It's even easier to form relationships with people online. You have data ahead of time, right? You know their number, their level, their visual style, their class, shared interests. Playing a virtual world is like socializing with training wheels. Really, it should be that. That's why I believe in it so much, is it gave me that as a young kid who felt like I was too smart for my own sake, you know? I was reading books, but I couldn't understand normal shit, right? Virtual worlds taught me you can make friends. You can I love telling these stories, but they sound creepy in hindsight, especially with the recent like news. But like, I used to play with 60-year-olds. I used to play with 50-year-olds. Pause. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? I used to play with people like that. I told the story. One time I was playing with this guy named Praetorian. My dad walks into the room. I'm in Ventrilo. This is like 2005 or 6, maybe 7. And he goes, "Who the hell is that?" I was like, "That's my friend Praetorian." He says, "How old is he?" And I'm like, "Praetorian, how old are you?" 64. My dad's like, "He's older than me." Why is he playing with you? And you know, my dad was trying to understand. He was being genuine. And I said, "It's just a game. You play with people of all ages." And then, of course, I also told him, "We're just playing the game. We're like, nothing's happening, you know?" But my dad was very much like, "What the fuck? Why is a 64-year-old playing with you when you're like 12? But what other world does that happen in? If I pull up at the basketball court at 12 years old, I'm dunking on that fucking 64-year-old. I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying? We're not really playing basketball together, right? We're not at the court hooping together. We're not in the library in the same sections, probably, right? When am I ever going to meet that guy and engage with him? I'll tell you, when I'm playing Star Wars Galaxies, a virtual world that connected me with people that I still to this day don't even believe are real. I mentioned this before, but one of the guys that founded the guild that I was in, which was like a super hardcore stormtrooper guild, it was like one of the world first guilds, was a NASA employee. An executive level. He actually had to leave the guild at one point because he got assigned to a project. And he couldn't ever tell us anything, and he wouldn't. But I remember just being blown away, because I lived in Houston, so I knew what NASA was. And I'm like, the fuck? And then the guy that ran the drill sergeant recruitment thing that we did was a ranger, a former ranger. And 2 of the guys in the fucking platoon were serving military, meaning they were still serving at the time. So it was just like I was meeting these people as a kid. And I'm just like, man, these people are so interesting. And people often wonder, why do I have so much reverence for military and nerds and different nerddoms? It comes from this time. I met pen and paper nerds during this time. I met military nerds during this time. I met Star Wars nerds during this time. One of my friends in that game was a Star Wars nerd. His name was Rex. Off the Stormtrooper from 501st. And yeah, I'm just ranting at this point. But hopefully you guys can see that like this industry and this genre has changed my life. So all the shit posting and all that other shit aside, if you have something you want to ask me about this industry, come ask it to me, even directly. And I find that not only will you grow more to love the industry like I do after talking with someone like me, you'll find that I love it like no other. And that's where my perspectives come from. Even my internet shitposting perspectives come from that. It comes from the fact that we should gatekeep video games. Things should be difficult and you should have to overcome them. There shouldn't be a bunch of difficulty modes. These are things that I really believe in, and I believe that there's a lot of evidence to prove why it works. And it feels so damn good right now, just have to say, to be able to look at the Japanese industry and be like, for many years I've been trying to be like, but what about PSO? But what about PSO? And people were always like, it's old. It's only in Japan. PSO 2 is only in Japan. But now it's like, what about Japan now? I said this before, but Japan's one MMO away from smashing America in that field and even starting to unseat Korea. I'm not even exaggerating. I wish I could tell Yoshi P that to his face. You guys are literally one smash hit away, I think, personally, from opening up the ceiling again and more, and making the whole world have to internationally watch and be like, fuck, what's going on, you know? As long as you are not at the World of Tanks Discord channel. I get death threats, but I never get anything military intel related. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm gonna lay down. Anybody else have any questions before I dip? Oh yeah, fuck, let me smoke for the new year. Get your questions in before my brain expires. All right, I think we've reached it. I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by. Thank you for joining the 6 Pixels Under podcast. I am Nerd Slayer, or NS, or Justin, or whatever the fuck else you want to call me, because, to be honest, most of the time I don't really care. I mean, people call me nerd, and it cracks me up because before they call me it, they'll usually say something like, hey, is it cool if I call you nerd? And I'm always like, why wouldn't it be cool? I'm a nerd. And they're always like, ha ha ha, and I'm like, no, but like seriously, but like my name's Nerd Slayer, but like I'm also a nerd, so you can just call me a nerd. I don't. It's not gonna do anything for me. I already got dumped in a few lockers. No, I'm just kidding. No, I couldn't fit in a locker. That's too big. That was my luck. All right, guys, I'm gonna hit the music.